not an exchange of goods or services. To me, a sale is appealing to someone's emotion to say, okay, I'll agree with what you're selling. Do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. And there are no exceptions to this universal law. In the end, one side will convince the other. So what's going to happen here today is that either you guys are going to convince me that I'm out of my mind for standing in the stage, and I'm going to quit ShopBest, or I'm going to turn you into crazy people like me, and you're going to make a lot of money. I think the latter is going to happen. Okay, so see, more than 2 minds are meeting here, and the sale's going to be made, and it's me selling you guys. That's what's going to happen. All right. So now, in order to achieve that, in order when 2 minds meet, and you be the one that's convincing the other party that you are a leader worth following, that the company that you have decided to follow and the founders of the company you've decided to follow are people that you should be following. You need to switch from what I call the belief system to the knowing system. And I'm going to touch on this really, really deep, because this is important, because it's very important to me, and it works. Guys, it truly, truly, truly works. Now I'm going to begin the experiment. And before I do, where's Tim Taylor? Stepped out of the room. Okay. Well, we remember yesterday Tim said a prayer at dinner. Who was at dinner last night? He said a prayer. He said, I'm about to say a prayer, and please, I don't intend to offend anybody because everybody has their own faith. But a prayer nonetheless. And he did a beautiful prayer. So I'm going to ask you, how many of you believe in God? Pretty much the whole room, right? Now here's the experiment that I'm going to conduct. I'm going to ask that same question in about 10 minutes, and none of you will raise your hand. And please don't be offended. I'm not trying to preach. I'm not trying to preach religion here. It's just an experiment. I'm going to ask that question one more time in 10 minutes, and none of you will raise your hand. See, the belief system comes with doubt because it is handed to you by someone outside of yourself. In other words, they are somebody else's conscious conduct. Imagine you read a book. You read a book about how to ride a bicycle or how to drive a car. And you read it so well that you actually can memorize the words on page 20. And then your father buys you a bicycle. He said, well, you read the book, good luck. What do you think will happen when you get on that bicycle? You're going to fall. You're going to get hurt. Because you have a belief system. Those were not your experiences. You haven't had the experience. You haven't made conscious contact. Therefore, you are operating on beliefs outside of yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So now, jumping over to the knowing. And the same applies with anything. How many of you remember the first time you tied your shoes by yourself? You know, right now, we don't even think about it. We just do it because we've done it so many times. We're in the what? In the knowing. We don't believe we can tie our shoes. We don't think about it. We don't go, I think I'm going to be able to tie my shoes this morning. But at one point, it was a big deal, wasn't it? When mommy was going or daddy was going to lay us over, and we actually had to consciously think about it. Now we just do it. And we go. So, see, the belief system, and I looked up the definition of believe in. To believe in something or something is a distinct concept from belief that. There are two types of belief in. The most common one that we hear all the time is an expression. It's called commendatory, an expression of confidence in a person's entity. As I believe in him, I believe in her. I know that they can do it. You can do it. Alina, I believe in you. I know you're going to build this business. And the second is existential claim. To claim and believe in the existence of an entity or phenomenon, you know, like you believe in UFOs and so forth, although you may not have proof you believe in UFOs, with the implied need to justify its claim to existence. And it is often used when the entity is not real or its existence is in doubt. Let me repeat that because that is extremely important that we really, really grasp this thought that I'm trying to communicate with you. When it's existence, it is often used when its entity is not real. It is often used when the entity is not real or its existence is in doubt. Okay? So the belief system comes with doubt. The knowing system has the absence of doubt. Are we starting to understand where I'm going with this? Okay. Now, this is one of my favorite quotes of all time from Dr. Wayne Dyer. How many of you guys have heard of it? Okay. If you knew, not if you believe, if you knew who walked beside you at all times on this path that you have chosen, you could never experience fear. You can never experience fear of somebody rejecting you to look at your business or saying no. You can never experience fear of failing. Because the true thing is that nobody here fears failing, you fear success. You really do fear success. You fear, you're crazy, Raul? You do fear success. That's what we really fear. We do not fear failure. See, so once you know that, the quote above, if you knew who walked beside you at all times, you will never experience fear. Once you know that, you are now using conscious contact, and knowing is the absence of doubt. You have removed doubt. And that's what I try to work on in all aspects of my life. And I'm not perfect. I'm a human being. I wake up, and then the little doubt comes with certain issues in my life. And I fight it off. But there's certain things that I have no doubt about anymore. So, knowing is what I'm suggesting that you have to go to. Removing any doubt. Independence of the opinions of others and knowing. What I mean by independence of the opinions of others is you're going to have people who are going to tell you, you join one of those? What's wrong with you? But if you're in the belief system, that may have an effect on your psychological mind. And you might go, oh, you're right. What was I thinking? I should go back to school. I should go back to my 9 to 5. But if you have crossed over to the knowing, there's no way that person can infect your mind with a negative bug. So, now that we've covered that, I'm going to ask the question again. How many of you believe in God? How many of you have a relationship with God and know that God exists? How many of you have a relationship? See, believing in God says, you know, just in case I believe in God. You cross over to the knowing, whatever religion you might be, because you have a relationship with the Lord. And I'm not here to be your priest or sorry, because I'm far from it. But that was my point. My point is you remove any doubt, because the knowing system implies the absence of doubt. And that's what we need to strive for. I have no doubt in my mind that ShopBest is going to be $1 billion company within 5 years. None. In the belief system of, let me see what these guys are all about. Let me see what the technology is about. I've crossed that.